This is Rauta and Steelfest 2022. What you're having here is a Danish black metal act, Denial of God. That name already should give you a little bit of an indication of what's happening here. No, if you're not fans of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, sorry, your Lord and Savior, or maybe your neighbor's Lord and Savior, we can just give it a little bit of a mid-finger, and there we have the artist. What is your name all again?
Ustumalaga, vocalist for the last 31 years, I guess. So yeah.
Well, let's put the cat on the table, so to speak. Denial of God is probably the most known Danish black metal act, but you're not exactly the mayhem of Denmark, but kind of a close to it in the sense of long career and all that stuff.
I don't know. Probably, one of the longest running Danish bands right now, along with the Ill Disposed and maybe a couple of others, but yeah, total different genres and stuff. And the black metal bands, I guess we are the oldest in Denmark. So doesn't say so much.
Why it is so that from Norway, and especially Norway and Sweden, we have all the big names, somewhat big names from maybe Finland, but when it comes to Denmark, there are no so many big bands, and you're like the only ones to keep the flag flying.
I don't know. It's a Danish thing. I think there's a lot of Danish bands, but many of the Danish bands are somehow they seem content with just playing inside Denmark. They play a lot of gigs, but only in Denmark. That's the feeling you get, and then no one will ever hear about them in other countries, and they don't do the underground thing with doing flyers and shit like we always did in the past and all that. It's a new way of doing it now. You just rely on Facebook, and that's it. And it's not always enough, and I think that's one of the things. And Denmark has always been a bit behind compared to Sweden, Norway and Finland. Denmark has always been the last somehow. I don't know why. But
what is interesting to me is that known a lot of guys from Norway, known a lot of guys from Sweden, known a lot of guys of Denmark, and I don't see a difference in the terms of like how people are in like relation to metal and all that stuff. I mean, you're a bunch of nice people and you have good bands, but when it comes to black metal, it's as if Danish are almost like holding back, with the exception of you who are pushing the boundaries.
There's actually quite a few black metal bands in Denmark. That's not really the problem, but a lot of those bands do like the new black metal, like where you don't use coarse paint or have any cool image or whatever. It's just guys with the slick hair and glasses and big beards, just hipster kind of shit,
hipster,
and it's all post shoegaze crap, whatever. It's not like like what I would call real fucking black metal. Of course, there's some of those really underground, very small bands that probably never will go anywhere, but I respect them more than some of the more well-known ones that just stand in Hawaii shirts and whatever and pretend to play black metal. That doesn't go hand in hand in my book.
What got you started? What keeps your flame going on when it comes to black metal? You've been in the scene for a long time. What is the thing which burns in your heart?
We're very stubborn people, I guess. I don't know. I can't quit this. It's what I always wanted to do. So why should I stop now? I always wanted to make music. So now I do what I want to do. So it's probably what I'm best at anyway. So yeah.
Which bands got you started in the beginning? Which gave you the idea like, I want to do extreme metal and more specifically black metal?
I started out with Iron Maiden when I was 10. That was a really big eye-opener. I was looking for a lot of extreme music without really knowing what I was looking for. I was just searching through the library when I was a kid, and I borrowed everything there that looked extreme, like punk records and all kinds of really bad crap, but with cool covers. So you think, oh, there's something cool inside too. Most of it was crap, but then I found the Iron Maiden album, and that was really mind-blowing. And then from there, it just escalated, kind of. That was 86. Then in 88, I got a tape with the Venom, my favorite band still to this day. That was mind-blowing, and that's where the whole black metal thing really started. It just got extremer from there, kind of. It's like a fix you need. It needs to be wild and darker and crazier all the time. And yeah.
Now, coming from my background, I can totally relate to what you said about Iron Maiden and all those covers, because I remember browsing those covers and saying, like, how can a band be so cool with all the covers and all that stuff? And of course, that kind of anti-Christianity was very much speaking to me, but what got to you to give your band a name such as Denial of God? Because it's a very much more, say, effective than satiric or names like that. So it's like there's a message.
Yeah, but the thing is, we kind of have to go all the way back, even before the band started, because me and my brother, who's still the two remaining members, we've been in the band the whole time. We had like each our idea if we wanted to run a band, always with crazy concepts, like fucked up stuff, like already there. But then we wanted to do because we realized it was actually hard to put a band together, because we were very young and we lived in the countryside, didn't really know any metalheads and all that, so we were a bit left to our own. So we just decided we do it together, get some other guys. It took a while, but and then we just do a black metal band and do it as primitive as we can. It just has to be so extreme and really primitive. And I came up with the band name Deaf to God. That's even worse.
Yeah.
It's even more primitive. I was 13.
Well,
keep that in mind. I was 13, and it just had to be primitive. But after a while, we found out that there was already a band called Deaf of God.
Okay,
and that was a bit too close.
Yep.
So then it's Denial of God, and it was a bit closer to it. Yeah, that's how it came into existence, I guess. It just grew from there into a real band instead of just a project kind of thing. Yeah, you just couldn't put it on the shelf again.
What strikes me is kind of a funny thing that back in those days, of course, there was no Google, there was no YouTube, things like that. And like I said, you changed your name because there were already bands with so similar names. Yeah. And nowadays, you have kids who don't even spend 5 minutes of time Googling out for a band.
It's so
and they just take the same name.
It's so easy to do. There's no excuse anymore.
Yeah, and they don't even go through that, browsing through those punk records or old metal records, like, wow, we're gonna get inspired.
You just go to the shitty, what's it called? Metal Archives.
Yep.
Terrible website, but there's a lot there to see. So you look at it every now and then anyway.
Yeah, it's main tool for me anyway.
Yeah, you can find a lot of that stuff on there already, so it's not really an excuse.
Yeah. So do you think nowadays bands are lazier when it comes to, creating their own band and sound and
big time?
Yeah.
Big time. And it has become much too easy to make a band. Everyone pretty much can record at home now.
Yeah, just you use a phone and
you can even just use a phone. Of course, it comes in handy and it's really nice and easy, but it also means that you get way too many bands. And even if you write songs, not everyone is a songwriter, if you know what I mean.
I totally know.
I can write riffs too. Doesn't mean that I make great songs, It has to be fucking memorable. It has to say something. But a lot of young people today, they just imitate something that's already existing. Why
like a copycat of a copycat of a copycat.
Pretty much. Why don't you do your own thing? I mean, you must have something inside that makes you. And everyone should have that. If you don't have that, why are you even here? I mean...
Now one thing which I've totally noticed during these reviews past 20 years is that back in the days, like the earlier bands, including you A lot of bands were inspired by a different genre. Like you said, old black metal bands, including bands like Darkthrone and you and a lot of bands, they were inspired by a different genre. Like first or second wave black metal bands had their inspiration coming from totally different. But it seems like in 2020s or even 2021s, you get these bands who are more like, okay, we're creating a black metal band that is inspired by a band that was already founded like early 2000s, and they don't even go for the roots. Yeah. It seems like everything is like just using the same ingredients, and as such, not exactly being very original, but you have your own style, which nobody can say, hey, this sounds like Denial of God, or Denial of God sounds like band X.
That's a thing I also think. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I see it from the inside.
Yeah.
I can't always judge, but if you ask me, I cannot tell you that we sound like this or that band. I have to say that. May sound arrogant, I don't know, but
no, I think it's real. I think it's real.
I think Aster has a really original way of making riffs, for example, and the whole way we put it all together is just becomes this thing that's kind of new. If you like it or not, that's another thing, but at least it's not a fucking copycat. Too many bands just they take some bands and say we want to sound like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why not sound like you?
Exactly.
Because you must have something in here that you need to get out. And if you don't have anything here or here that you need to tell, then why are you making music? It's just, I don't know, to entertain yourself, I guess. Get free beers or something. Yeah. I don't know. I don't always get it.
But you also expanded not only the sound, but you also incorporated this kind of a horror movie style into your thing. Now, how would you like to expand on the topic? What made horror movies to be part of Denial of God?
I don't know. The idea was always there, but I think we got better through the years with incorporating it into the music. And of course, you grow all the time as a musician and as a person, whatever, a writer. And I think we still do what we did in the beginning. We're just better at it now, kind of. 'Cause we never really changed.
And it's kind of evolved.
Yeah, in a natural way. And we are still 100% behind, like, even the first demo. Sounds like crap maybe, but still totally behind what's on it. Oh, I'm not regretting anything like that. And that was 91.
I remember seeing a show with you guys, and I don't know if they were made of cardboard, but it looked like having like a cardboard gravestones or something.
They were actually made of wood.
Oh, they were made of wood. But I remember they looking kind of sketchy, but back those days, I didn't actually know the horror metal enthusiasm behind it. And when I figured out, it was more like, oh, now I'm getting it's like this kind of a tribute to kind of old school horror movies and stuff like that.
Turning the stage into a cemetery.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of. Yeah, but it's funny with the gravestones. We used them for many years, but if I look back at it now, I also find them a bit sketchy.
But I think now it makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, and they did what they were supposed to, and we used them for many years, and that's fine. But I think the stage show that we have now is much better. We just couldn't bring it here to fucking Finland.
Okay, let's do a little bit saving. This is a little bit of a wink to a Borgen guy. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But anyway, this is something very, very unique and very kind of a trademark-like to your stuff, and I think it's very important to maintain this originality. But yesterday, when I saw your show, well, you sounded good and all that stuff, but you didn't have exactly this horror movie kind of a...
No, the problem was we're in Finland right now. We couldn't bring it on the plane.
Okay.
Normally we have like, 18 skulls or something, and big crosses and all kinds of stuff. It's even better now, really, like a fucking temple of death or something, cemetery kind of thing. But yeah, you can't bring that on a plane. So it was just, yesterday was just 100% music. And it worked too. It was a bit sad because we know we have to have it there. It was missing, but I think people enjoyed it anyway because they were really fucking noisy. The crowd was really absolutely excellent.
Now, if you could a little bit play on the fantasy side and, play it a little bit like if you could expand it in a perfect world way, what kind of a show Denial of God would have in the terms of the stage and those horror elements?
You mean if we could get away with everything?
Yeah, if you could here's $1 million, now build a show.
I don't know.
Would it still look like a B-movie thing, or would it be something like a modern horror movie?
Not modern, that's for sure.
I kind of figured it out already.
Modern horror is normally pretty lame. But it was never meant to be a B-movie either, actually, even if I like that a lot. But no, that would probably just be a big extension of what we already do, but then also with some actors probably doing something, I don't know. Murder some nuns? I don't know.
Murdering some nuns?
I don't know.
Makes a lot of sense.
Something really extreme. People want to be entertained.
That's true.
And I would lie if I said I don't enjoy entertaining. Of course I do.
I think that's one of
I do.
That's kind of the modern misconceptions of black metal. At the same time, you have to be really super serious and not to pretend you don't like to entertain. And at the same time, we all know that music is live there to entertain people.
I get the point with that, but if you're really so hostile, then you should probably...
Jerry, how you doing? Welcome to the interview.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit later.
Where was I?
Talking about entertainment.
Yeah, if you're really so hostile and misanthropic, then you shouldn't even play live. Yeah, probably.
Exactly.
So it's a bit... I don't always enjoy everyone either. Actually, not a lot. But I'm not a people person really either. But I still like to do shows, Yeah. It comes with the territory. You can't play shows without being around people.
You have to make compromises.
I enjoy talking to people who tell me how much the music meant to them or something like that. Yesterday we had people at the signing session that came all the fucking way from Colombia. Yeah. And they were like ecstatic.
And you really can't be a douchebag to say fuck off.
That means, it means so much that people do that. So that made my day. Yeah. So you can't dislike that.
Exactly. No, I'm not. And it actually brings a smile to our faces when it happens.
I'm not that cool.
Exactly. Actually, you are cool because you're doing it.
I'm just honest. Oh
well, talking about honesty and talking about horror movies, now I have to pick your brain. Is there a certain sub-genre of horror movies that make you enjoy the most? Like, before you answer, okay, these are ghosts, there are zombies, there are reality murders, serial killers, or whatever. What is your poison when it comes to horror stuff?
I think supernatural stuff.
Supernatural. Can it be more specific?
Like movie names?
Yeah.
I mean, I always, since I was a kid, I was really obsessed with the Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist.
Okay, it's a good one.
It's a big budget movie, I know, but it still works for me. Still to this day. I've seen it so many times, it's not even funny. I've seen The Haunted. That was a TV movie from the 90s. It's amazing. Not many people know it, and it's really cheap, but it works. We even fucking sampled it in a song. But stuff like supernatural things, because you never really know what can happen. Everything can kind of happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I also really like slashers. The only problem is it's always the same concept.
Yeah, always.
But I'm a sucker for that too.
So you don't really mind if it's not original?
If it's well made, I don't care if it's original. But yeah.
Which one is your favorite then?
Slasher or?
Yeah. Like if you had to put a gun in the temple, no, give me one name.
Yeah, I would say you can't talk about slashers without mentioning Friday the 13th.
Yeah, of course.
The franchise, like part 1 to 6, especially the first ones. I'll never get tired of them.
You know what? I have to mention this one. You know what really got me was the number 4 because of that Alice Cooper song.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
giving me the chills when I was like a teenager. And I think a lot of people are like, what the fuck are these old timers talking about? But
I'm pretty sure we have that song in the car still, actually. It's, that's classic. Alice Cooper is the fucking best. It's also a big inspiration,
yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Now, talking about a very, very different topic, which I promised to ask you before we started this interview, was you had some national Danish television thing wanting to do a denial of God interview, but ending up going in a very, very weird direction. And I saw and heard a few Danish friends of mine already saying, like, it was a shame that you were supposed to be asked about your band and music and career, and ended up being like, what was the story of that?
The thing is, there were some guys working for DR. That's a big channel in Denmark, and they came to a friend of mine who runs a record shop, and they said, "Can you put us in touch with some black metalers in Denmark? Because we are doing a show on it, a documentary on it." He said, what kind of show is it, blah, blah. And they started telling him, oh, we're gonna blah, 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 talk about this and that. And they were really, really focused on Nazi black metal, NSBM.
Yeah.
And my friend told him, if you have that in mind for the show, no one will talk to you, because no one gives a fuck about it.
Yep.
And I don't think we have any NSBM bands in Denmark anyway. But
I don't know either.
And everyone will stay out of it because no one wants to be dragged into it or something. So you have to change your opinion about the show, and then we can talk about it. And they talked for like a half year or something. And finally, okay, he convinced them, and they got in touch with all kinds of people, among them me. And then finally we got to see the show, and it was all about Nazis.
What the fuck?
So they just lied to everyone, and not just was it everything they said it wouldn't be, it was also so amateurish, it wasn't funny, it was really embarrassing. It's the worst journalism I've fucking seen on TV. It was retarded, and yeah, they cut it, edited it just to make you sound fucking bad. Nah.
Now, everybody in the black metal scene, except for maybe Americans, of the ignorant type, not generalizing too much, knows that very, very small percentage of that thing is politically related, and mostly it's much like your band and lots of other bands focusing on the darker aspects of life, but not being exactly political. So how do you feel when politics are forced into the scene, and we were like, okay, we don't want to even talk about it, but it's like, hey, but you have to kind of understand. How does it make you feel?
We always said we don't give a fuck about anything, because it's not our thing.
Yeah.
I have probably friends on both sides of the fence. I don't give a fuck.
Same here.
If you're a stand-up guy, if you're a cool guy, then you're a cool guy. Then I don't fucking care what you think politically. I mean, and more people should be a bit more like that.
Relaxed.
And not start fucking shitstorms on Facebook or stuff like that. That also like happened with Steelfest and all. It's a fucking big joke. Like people attacking it, and most of those people have never even been here. They're sitting safely in front of their computer, probably in America.
Yeah.
Some dirty crust punks or whatever, whiny guys. And then
to me it feels like it's this big picture, and some people are focusing on that 1% and taking that as an issue. But when you come here, you don't really see any kind of a political party thing happening, but people are having good times, seeing shows, drinking beers, and having conversations like this.
Everyone is here.
Yeah.
And there's people from fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
There's so many brown-skinned people here, actually.
Yes.
Enjoying themselves.
Exactly.
I mean, what's a big fucking deal? If you don't like a band, you don't go and watch it.
Yeah.
Done. No more problem. No, nothing. No such thing as fucking guilt by association or whatever, because that doesn't fucking exist in my book. We had a Danish music journalist that tried to start some shit about us because we were playing here.
Yeah.
And he wrote on Facebook, he kind of demanded an explanation from the band why we played here, but you shouldn't give in to those people. He never got an explanation because he can fucking fuck off. I mean, why?
This is metal.
Yeah, the metal rider. But I mean, why even go there? But he thought it was shameful that Den of God was the only Danish band and we were playing here. What's wrong about Steelfest? I never had a fucking problem here at all. It's the second time we're here.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's an issue. Fuck off. I don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck.
Talking about one step away from politics, but talking about religions, which are of course the kind of a main enemy of black metal, and once again related to your name, how do you feel religions these days? How they reflect on the music, or how are you reflecting your opinions about religions?
I mean, we have probably the demos, I guess, were more. It's a bit hard actually to explain, but yeah, maybe the demos were more satanic, but again, we developed the fucking concept of the band. It's still satanic, it's still devil worshipping stuff and death worshipping stuff, but it has become more sophisticated. As you grow older, you get smarter and you know what you want.
And the kind of rounded corners.
It's not as black and white as it used to be, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing is, but we never turned our backs on anything, I think. So, yeah.
Now, if you could achieve some things or some certain thing with Denial of God, like be it about world peace or ending, I don't know, eating meat or figuring out some way to fly to Mars or whatever. Like if you could achieve one thing with Denial of God, if you had one mission that you could accomplish, what it would be?
God damn, you ask some weird questions.
Yeah, I'm a weird guy. I always try to find weird questions.
I really don't know. I'm not really.
But it can be a really earthly one. You don't have to think big.
No, but I must admit I'm a very what do you call it? Not, like I said, not a people person, so I don't really give too much of a fuck. But I would leave. I don't know.
So do you have any big plans of Denial of God in the say next 10 or 20 years before you get old and you go, let's call it a day?
Nah, we do what we do. I think we're it's not getting bigger than it is now.
Yep.
So I'm a realist, but we are fine like we are now anyway. We've never been fast riders or anything. We're always really slow.
So you're not Lars Ulrich of black metal for Dana?
I hope not. Terrible guy. But yeah.
But then again, you also have King Diamond coming from Denmark, so it's not that lost cause.
No. He just needs to do a good album again. That's been many years since he did a good one. So, but yeah, nice guy and always great when he comes back to Denmark. So we see him every fucking time.
So who you will give the torch to when Denial of God is done and you need to give the torch to younger generation? Who is going to take it?
Danish bands.
You decide. I'm asking hard questions.
Yeah,
I know.
That was actually a tough one. I don't fucking know. I don't check out so many new bands actually.
Why not?
I don't bother.
How come?
Many things sound too much the same. Every now and then you find a surprise, of course, but in general, I don't know. That's a tough one.
I like it.
I would like to think that my other band, The Right, they also do. It's even more black metal probably, but maybe that. I don't know.
Okay, let's start wrapping things up. Now, I hope by this time during the interview, people are like, okay, I missed out Denial of God, and I'm figuring out which songs or releases to start on. If you had to pick your favorite one to give the audience, like this is the starting point for a new fan of Denial of God, what would it be?
The thing is, I never took one song above the other. It's like they're all important.
So you can put the release.
I would, of course, I would say one of the albums, because you shouldn't start with the noisy first demo recorded on a ghetto blaster in the rehearsal room. That's not really representing so much anymore. But one of the albums, I would say.
Which one? Once again, Gun on Your Temple.
Probably the last one, I guess, because it's the newest, the Hallow Mass. Or the first album, The Horrors of Satan. That's many people consider that a classic for some reason. I'm very happy for all of them, but it's like you can't pick your favorite child. So
exactly. Now, if you had one favorite to tour or do a special gig with one certain band, which one you would do a special gig or tour?
If I could,
any band in the world.
If I could dream away and do or get whatever I wanted, I would probably say the original Venom, of course, from the early 80s with the original 3 members, or Mayhem when they were on their peak. That means before the first album, but with Dead on vocals, that would be absolutely excellent. But if we have to be realistic, it would probably be tour with maybe our friends in Abysmal Grief, or some Abysmal Grief from Italy. Excellent band. Touring with them would be really, that would make sense, because both bands are totally cemetery fanatics and totally into spiritism and smoke and graves and candles, and that would be good.
Now, talking about cemeteries, do you have any particular favorite cemetery in the world?
I must admit the one I went to in Sao Paulo, I don't remember the name, of course, but in Brazil, when we were touring there, we went to the cemetery. That was really fantastic, but in general, it's probably something from Italy. I always go to the cemetery.
They have really big ones.
Exactly.
Like
really,
Milan, it's crazy.
The big one in Milan is
it's like,
absolutely
wow.
great.
Yeah.
And the old one in Prague is fantastic. But cemeteries in general, but Danish ones are a bit boring.
But that's the kind of a Nordic thing to do.
Yeah, they don't have all the statues and all the cool stuff. It's a bit more. You have to go a bit south. Then it's really excellent.
Now, as the final question, which kind of advice you would give to your younger version? Like, you're doing your first demo, and now you could give your younger version an advice, do this instead of that.
I've been thinking that so many times, but now it's all gone. I don't know. I would probably be a bit more maybe cover everything a bit more with video and photos and stuff, and maybe also speed up a bit with releasing stuff. I don't know. It's avoid this and that guy. Stuff like that. Yeah, you live and learn, but I don't know. I don't have regrets really. I normally stand for what I do. So
this is a very good way to conclude an interview. No regrets, learn from your mistakes, and do what is your passion. This is Rauta, this is Denial of God. Thank you for being with us, and check out the good stuff. Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise.
See you on the other side. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. I'll just pause it, this one.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Oops.
How long was that anyway?
Let me see.
Nice.